Hello, hello, hello. Que pasa, amigos? How's everyone's Friday going? It's been a while since a Friday live. That it has been. Hello, hello, hello. Gonna start off with the shoulder clod, aka cross rib today. Try and get this out without getting a bunch of meat juice all over the place. Hey, that one worked. Does beating meat help tenderize it? Maybe. It's more fun than anything. Hello, hello, hello. So this bad boy right here, this big old piece of meat, is a shoulder clod, aka cross rib. If you did want to get a flat iron, this is the piece to get it from right here. I'm gonna go ahead and separate that from the rest of this. I'm not gonna make it into flat iron. Flat iron doesn't really sell out on my counter, so I'm gonna leave it as a roast. But I trim this up last, so I'll come back to it in just a little bit. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for the new follows. Y'all didn't know, I'm also live over on the YouTube app. So if you like longer videos, or if you miss a live, make sure to go ahead and subscribe over there. But anyways, let's go ahead and start trimming this piece of meat up. As you can see, we got a bunch of this connective tissue and silver skin on the top of this piece of meat right here. I like to start off with my smaller knives to get all this top layer out. More control over how deep you're going to be going into the meat. A lot of this connective tissue I don't really put into my trim bucket. If I can just get it on right on out of here. And once we got that top layer out, that's pretty much just that. I like to go in and start trimming up the rest of this. Get it right underneath it and shimmy it on right on over here. Not taking too much meat out with that, it's just a very thin layer. Is that a shoulder clod? Yes, it is. Jeremy Gibson, thanks for the follow. Really appreciate it. What's up, YouTube? What's up, Meat Man? What's up, Rachel? See if I can do a little bit better paying attention to being live on 2 apps this time. I get a little bit caught up just over on the TikTok, so I do apologize, YouTube, but let's see if I can do a better job of it today. So once we get all that nice and trimmed up, I like to kind of flip it over and see if there's any ugly fat down here. By ugly fat, I mean just like some of the stuff that's just hanging out. It's really loose, really thin, kind of just flappy and hanging there. Or this thick stuff right down here. Every time I'm throwing it back here, that's the trash. Every time you see me, let's get a piece off here so I can show you what I'm doing. Every time you see me going down here, it's my trim bucket. Everything in the trim bucket gets made into ground beef. Scraps that you don't need on your steak, but you're not going to throw away because you can still make money, ground beef in it. Everything I put in the trash is just stuff that doesn't have any meat on it. It's connective tissue, tendons, bone, unneeded fat. What's up, Rebecca? How's everyone's Friday going? I raise a few beef, I pay around $50. I'm gonna check that one out. I pay around $5.50 including Kill Bill. I just always wanted to do my own. Nice, nice. Tallow, I don't have an oven or anything back here to do tallow with, so this gets thrown away. Unless someone puts in an order asking for a certain amount of fat to be saved, then it just gets thrown away if I don't need it. Now we got this really ugly piece back here. Some people will go ahead and kind of piece it out and stew meat it. I can sell it as a roast, depending on how good I trim it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and take out this little fat deposit right here. Smaller knives are always nice for the little work. Take out this little piece right here. And once it's nice and trimmed up, I'm gonna go ahead and right here, right where that fat seam started, I'm gonna take out the first roast. Get a nice little cross rib roast right here. Set that right there. Pretty much just gonna be going through and roasting this whole thing. I'll get a couple small steaks off this other end. Just need some roasts out on my counter for the weekend. So we're gonna do some cross rib and some chuck tender. So we got 3 roasts from this main source of cross rib. Make some 2 small steaks right here. Set this little piece aside for some stew meat. We got 2 steaks. 2 steaks going in 2 small packages. How's everyone doing on YouTube? How's everyone doing on TikTok? Everyone ready for the weekend? One right there. Sorry, YouTube, not trying to block your view there. Do another one right here. I like to do 2 soaker pads, sometimes 2.5. What I mean by 2.5 is I usually call 1 full one a double. So I'll do 2 doubles and then a single, 2.5. It's a big roast like this one. I have these on sale for $6.19 a pound this week. It's not too bad of a deal. Now the front end of this side that would be normally for the flat iron, it's really ugly. Can't really do too much of this, so I like to take it out right there. We get this tendon or nerve or whatever it is, it's right here. Super chewy, don't want to eat that. If I got that, I'd be kind of annoyed. So I just throw it away. Very observant about what I leave on and what I take out on the meat. This tendon, nerve, all the way coming up here, it's super thick. Again, just right there. And then the rest of this, I would say, I'm gonna need to save a little bit of fat. They didn't send me any ground beef this weekend, so I'll probably be in tomorrow and I'll cut up a bag or 2 of chuck tender and I'll make that into 80-20. So I need to save a little bit of fat in my trim bucket for that chuck tender because there's not too much fat on those chuck tenders. They're really ugly with connective tissue and everything, but they don't really have too much fat on them. DJ, thanks for the follow. Tracy, thanks for the follow. Lily, thanks for the follow. Again, if you aren't aware, I am live over on YouTube, so if you do like longer videos, or if you miss a live, make sure to subscribe over there. What I'm taking off is this piece right here, this connective, basically a middle layer between the meat and the bone. So at one point a bone was resting on top of this piece of meat, and it's very smooth, so it lets the bone just glide across the meat without puncturing the meat and harming the meat. USMC87, thanks for the rose. I can't get any butcher to give me a top sirloin cap into 1-inch steaks. I'm sorry to hear that. Those are really, really good steaks. But I take this layer off because it doesn't taste good at all. It's just a protective layer. You could put it into the ground beef bin, but if you leave it on a steak or a roast and you eat it, it doesn't taste good at all. It like tastes really bad. So I take it out and just completely throw it in the trim bucket. I just get right under that, just get right underneath it. Don't really get any meat on with it and just throw it away. So I'm really nitpicky, really observant about what I take off and what I don't take off. And every time this piece is on a piece of meat, it gets taken off and put into the trash. So we're using this for a roast. This flat iron doesn't really sell here. What's up, Brandon? Tri-tip is the best. I got 2 bags of tri-tip we will be trimming up today. Some for some roasts and some for some steaks. So if you don't know how to trim up a tri-tip, you know, you've cooked it, smoked it, gotten it, and went to cut it up and it was super tender, not tender at all, it was super tough. Chances are you cut it wrong. So if that's ever happened to you, make sure you hang around to see how you're supposed to cut up a tri-tip. So we got this side over here. If you leave it on, it just looks really ugly. So you got to kind of get right underneath it, start to shave it out. Same with going right up on top of it. There's a little layer sitting right up on top. Pretty much just prettying it up now. Anything that's kind of knacked at, just gonna make it look a little bit better. It's the whole point of my job. I'm here to make it look pretty. If it doesn't look pretty, it's probably not gonna sell. It's a nice looking flat iron roast, if I don't say so myself. Go ahead and trim up a little bit of this fat. Probably no such thing as a flat iron roast, but pretty much what it is, so I'll just call it that. It's still pretty much a shoulder clawed cross rib roast, so, but it's flat iron. If we would break this down into some steaks, it'd be flat iron steaks, so flat iron roast. This fat's just super, super thick. Got a little bit of this ugly connective, that protective layer between the bone and the meat on the side of that, so just want to make sure you get it all out. And then once you get it looking to how you want, we're just going to go ahead and cut this in half. Sinew in the middle. But I don't want to go too far into the meat. It's not really that bad. Beautiful looking roast right there. Emily, thanks for the follow. Season Antisocial, thanks for the follow. Go ahead and just cut that right in half. And that's your flat iron roasts right there. Doctor, thanks for the follow. James Godfrey, thanks for the follow. What cut? If we were to cut these down into some steaks, which we'd grab a knife and just follow along right on top of this middle seam right here, we'd follow on top and on bottom, and that's where you get your flat iron steaks. But I leave it as a roast, so I just call it a flat iron roast. It's pretty much still just your cross rib roast, but I get a little bit more technical with it. And a bada bing, bada boom. Ryan, thanks for the follow. Matthew Doyle, thanks for the follow. What's the best way to sear a fillet? High heat, cast iron pan. Make sure you just roll it after a couple seconds of searing it on high heat. We'll go to ball tip next, just because we can get these done fairly quick, I'd say. These are petite sirloin steaks. Ball tip roasts. We're gonna cut them down to some petite sirloin steaks. A lot of connective tissue here, so that's what I'm gonna be taking off. Like a lot of this just hanging out. If it's hanging, it gets taken. So much flavor. This fat you don't want on. when the fat's just hanging out like that, it's not going to really produce that much flavor onto your steak. And it also makes it look really ugly. Sharon, thanks for the follow. Am I in Scotland? Unfortunately, I'm not in Scotland. I'd really like to visit though. Remember, I work in a grocery store, so if it doesn't look appealing to a customer, 9 times out of 10, it does not sell. So I gotta make it appealing to the customer. Where I'm located in Filer, people are pretty nitpicky about the fat here. People do like the fat on their ribeyes, but these other pieces of meat, they're just really not too in tune with it, which I don't really understand, but. So we got this piece of fat right up in here. I like to just go ahead and dig it out because we got to square off the front of this roast anyways. And the front of this usually gets made into some stew meat, which is very handy. Let's take off all that ugliness around it. Then we'll slide it off to the side. Go on to the next roast. What's up, Diego? He said, never mind. Do I recommend any seasonings for steaks? Bearded Butcher's really good. David, thanks for the follow. Danny, thanks for the follow. Diego, I don't know what you said never mind to, so sorry, my guy. What happened to all the waste meat? Anything that goes in the trash is really non-edible. Everything going into here gets made into ground beef. There's only 3 roasts in this bag. I mean, okay. And they're not really that big either. Usually if they're really, really big, 3 roasts is understandable, but these aren't like really, really big. Damn packaging company. It's got this piece just kind of hanging out. Go ahead and just take that whole hanging out piece out. I'm not going too quick, come on now. I'm trying to make a little bit of content, explain what I'm doing. If y'all want me just to go full speed, I won't pay attention to chat. I won't thank anyone for followers. I won't thank anyone for gifts. I won't do any of that. I'll just stare down and work. That's what y'all want me to do. But I prefer not to do that because then I'll be done pretty quick. If you want someone to just work and not stare, if you want someone to just stare down and not talk to chat, I'm sure there's a couple other meat cutters you can find on here, but I personally think they're boring, so people who don't want to interact with their chat's pretty boring. I can only work so quick while thanking everyone without losing a digit. Appreciate the pro tips. I appreciate you for tuning in. I appreciate everyone who likes the content and supports. James has got the #1 gifter badge. Did I miss a gift? If I've missed any gifts, I appreciate all the support, and I'll slap my meat for y'all if I've missed any gifts. If I've missed any gifts, appreciate you all. Trinit the Great, thanks for the follow. Mama of 2, thanks for the follow. It'd be funnier if you cut cheese instead. You want me to cut the cheese instead? Well, what happened to those trimmings? All the trimmings will get made into ground beef. I got a grinder right. If you're on YouTube, it's this thing right here. That's the grinder. If you're on TikTok, you can't really see it depending on how the camera's angled. Appreciate all you all over on YouTube. Appreciate the support over there. Mrs. Snow, thanks for the follow. I had a buddy named Jonathan back in high school. We still kind of keep in touch. But I started watching Game of Thrones, and another buddy in the group was also watching Game of Thrones, so we kind of gave him the nickname Jon Snow. It's kind of funny. Not really funny, but I found it amusing. Again, I take off all that ugly stuff. So if there's fat that's just hanging there, I take it off, and if it ends up being pretty much the whole thing, then that's what happens. These are fairly good steaks to just throw on the barbecue if you're trying to have some people over. If you want to make some shish kebabs, these are normally cut thick enough that you can square them up, put them on a skewer, and make some shish kebabs with these steaks as well. I got them on sale for $6.79 a pound this week. Usually if it's just a small little piece like this, it's not really worth my time, but I'll save it just because I need some stew meat. How do I know what to keep and what not to? Just years of experience in the job. When I first started, the guy who showed me, I was constantly watching him and watching how much fat to meat ratio he was putting in. If you're pretty much just taking off fat, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna throw that away. But if you're taking off meat with fat, depending on how much meat to fat that is, you're usually gonna put the whole piece in there. But it just comes with years on the experience. Why are you throwing? That's a dumb comment. What percent lean ground beef is? 93% is too expensive for me to just put just meat really in the bin. So I do 80-20. So depending on really just depends on how long you've been doing it. If you're brand new and you're really the only person in the meat shop, you might end up doing a 73-27 sometimes when you're doing it 80-20. But I've been back here for 6 years. I have a pretty good understanding of what to do with it. So 6 years, managing for 5.5. So we don't need to cut these too thick right now. They're not super, super cheap. Sometimes they go down to like $5.99 a pound, and I'll cut them a little thicker. These are the petite sirloin steaks. I'll go all the way down with them, even to just get the small little steak. You know, sometimes you might have just a kid who's starting to get into the hard foods and you want to give him a piece of steak. Package has that little one with a couple big pieces. Perfect for a family of 3 with a little kid. I buy a less than 5% fat mincemeat ground beef. Prefer it lean, costs more though. So if you're gonna make like spaghetti and tacos and, you know, stuff like that on the stove, then yeah, you want your leaner meat, your 93, 95. But when you're doing like hamburgers out on the barbecue, you want that more fat to meat rate, or you want that 80-20, 80% meat, 20% fat. Because that fat's gonna hold that meat together. So when you go and flip that patty, it's not gonna fall apart. Because if you do a 93% meat with 7% fat, it's not a whole lot of fat to hold that meat together. So you're gonna flip it, and 60-70% of the time that patty's gonna fall apart. Callie, thanks for the follow. I don't like having to get a giant one for my 5-year-old. Exactly. So these smaller pieces work perfectly for the younger kids. So, you know, sometimes a big package is perfect. You know, you got your 2 parents and you might have a couple older kids. But then there's just that package of a couple smaller ones. You know, you have 2 younger kids maybe, or a younger kid. Just grab that other extra small little package that costs you probably about $4. Hey, you're a-okie dokie. Caesar, thanks for the follow. All right, so let's go ahead and put these into some family pack packages. Majority of this is going to be probably a little bit smaller ones, but these bigger steaks, we'll go ahead. It's a pretty good looking petite sirloin steak right there. We want to have some friends over and not spend $60 on some rib eyes or New Yorks. Perfect little steak to grab. When they're this big, I kind of like just do 3 into a package. Helps to sell out of the counter a little bit quicker. Thanks for your service, dog. Hey, thanks for your support. I appreciate it. Mr. Meats, yes. Also, any of the new followers, welcome to the meat army. That's what I've kind of called the whole following of my bases, the meat army. You know, we're constantly fighting against being censored by them evil vegans. They think just eating plants all the time is better. I wonder how much wildlife you kill planting just nothing but having to ruin their areas just to plant your foods. You know what I mean? Probably kill more animals than we do. The meat army, brilliant, right? It's pretty cool, right? I'm part of the meat army. Hell yeah. Man cannot live on seeds alone. Exactly. What's going on, YouTube? What cut you working with today? This is ball tip. Cutting them down into petite sirloin steaks. Probably going to do a majority of these left into some smaller steaks because my family pack packages, we're going to be pretty full with the meat that we're going to be cutting today. But my smaller steak section is kind of looking a little slim. If I get a really nice big steak, I'll do a package of just one. It's perfect for just someone who lives alone. You know, you're not looking for a package of 2 or 3. Just one big one's perfect. Do I process cow heart? I do not. I don't do any like full processing here in the meat shop. It's just all primals that get sent down in primal boxes. Bro, I don't know you. I don't know you. Shout me out. What's up, Travel? Killing plants is better than killing animals. Planting all those plants, you're killing mice, rats, birds that live in the ground. You kill a lot of animals to plant your crops. It's a fact. Best cut of meat for charcoal? Ooh, I would probably do a ribeye over charcoal. That'd probably be a good steak. I've never really done charcoal. When I was younger, I tried it a couple times, but I wasn't the barbecue guru that I am now, and I always put the meat on too soon, and it always tasted like charcoal, so I wasn't really too big of a fan of charcoal. Now that I have more experience, I understand what I did wrong, but I still prefer my pellet smoking. I want to get an offset smoker where you do whole pieces of wood down at the end, and then you know, more professional way to do barbecuing. But those things are expensive, and I don't have the room at my place to do that. So pellet grills, that's how I do it. Just cutting this all down to stew meat before we move on to the next piece. Is this for chuck stew? No, this is the pieces that I've cut so far. So we've done cross rib and petite. So this package is going to have a mix of cross rib, shoulder clawed, and ball tip meat. Still has room for some more though, so we'll have a little bit of chuck tender meat in that package as well. Go ahead and get all this meat juice cleaned up. This is not BLOOD. It's not that red stuff. This is meat juice, myoglobin. It's broken down protein. So now I'll go on to chuck tender. It's been a little bit since I've slapped my meat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know y'all tune in to watch me slap my meat. It's been a little bit. I'm sorry. I'll open this one up and we'll give the meat a slap a couple of times. I promise. Is this the meat you see at grocery stores? Yes. I'm a meat department manager at a grocery store, so everything you see me cut here, I'll wrap and then put out on my counter. And then like when you go into Smith's, Albertsons, Fred Meyer, I mean Costco's a little bit different because it's more bulk, but all that meat as a customer in a grocery store, that's what I do. What's a chuck tender? This annoying, ugly ass little thing. Carlos! What's up, my amigo? Thanks for the heart me, man. I send you a heart you back. What store, if you don't mind? I'm the only store in Filer. So if you look up Filer, Idaho grocery stores, it should be the only store there. I'll give you a hint, it starts with an M. Thanks for the GG, Carlos. And the TGIF. Yes, thank God it's Friday. I hate trimming these things up. They're just ugly. We got this piece right here that we have to take out because it was resting against the bone. So we got this whole piece that we got to take off on every single one of these. It's a little nitpicky thing. Go ahead and get that on out. And then sometimes you get this little streak right here. It's kind of the same thing, but there's usually itty bitty pieces of bone on it too. So you got to cut this whole piece out. It's just tedious on this one. Where does the meat come from? Chuck tender. I would say up in the chest area because it's chuck. So chuck roll. Chuck shoulder claw, that's up in the chest area. So this is chuck tender. I would say it's part of that chest area meat. Could be wrong. I don't like chuck tender, so I haven't really gone out of my way to look at where it is on a cow. I hate these things, so I'm not gonna go home and just look it up. Unfortunately, I should, but again, I was trained to know how to look at these pieces of meat and how to trim them down so that people will come into a grocery store and buy them. I do want to learn the whole slaughter process though. I do want to learn it, so at least I do have that want compared to a lot of other people. They just want to come in, get their paycheck and leave. This back end, I cut it off because there's this tendon that runs throughout the whole piece. It gets smaller as it runs through it. Nerve, tendon, whatever it is. But back on this back piece, it's super thick. So I have to go ahead and cut it off. I got a piece I can make into some stew meat. And we got this roast we'll set aside for some looking at the bags here. Smaller ones I like to generally use for roasts, and the bigger ones I like to use for steaks. I think that other bag, I think it's like 50-50, so I think as I'm trimming these up, I'll be deciding what I want to do with them. If you see me tray it up, it's for a roast. If you see me set it aside, it's for we're going to cut it down to some steaks. She's Stud 29, thanks for the follow. The Ricky Bobby, thanks for the follow. What's my favorite cut? Ribeye. And then after ribeye, it's the top sirloin cap, also known as the picanha, also known as the rump cap, also known as your coulette. I'm sure there's a couple other names. I think I saw one somewhere online. It might have been Instagram. Never heard it called that before, unless it was a different way to spell coulette. I don't know what it was, but depending on where you're at in the United States or around the world, it's going to be the same cut, but it might have a different name. Al Green, thanks for the follow. Again, if anyone is not aware, I'm also live over on the YouTube app. I post longer videos over there. If you miss a live, it also gets posted over there, so make sure to subscribe to the YouTube. A lot of the same content gets posted, but I do have more free will to go over to YouTube and post a 40-minute video, right? Can't get a hold of this. So again, least favorite piece of meat to trim up are these chuck tenders. They're just tedious, super ugly. You can leave a lot of the silver skin on if you want, but a lot of the times when I'm trimming up this ugly stuff, it's attached to that silver skin, so I just get right underneath it and take it all out, like right here and right here. Once we get all that nice and trimmed up, take off this back end because it's really ugly. It's got that nerve or tendon right through it. Take off the chunky piece of meat so I can repurpose that into some stew meat. The rest of this goes into the trim bucket. How do you get a job like this? Just go into your meat department, go into your local grocery store, and if they're hiring, 9 times out of 10, it's for a meat wrapper and the cleanup. But you're in there long enough and they need a meat cutter, and you show enough initiative. You know, you get done wrapping super early, you come over and you just stand over by the meat cutter, just try and watch, show initiative. Hey, like, what piece of meat is this? Or how do you, like, what do you take off, or how do you decide how much you take off? You know, show initiative as a meat wrapper / cleanup person that you want to learn. And 9 times out of 10, when they give the chance to need another meat cutter, they choose you instead of just bringing someone else in. The Hollywood JC, thanks for the follow. Seems so satisfying and relaxing. It's pretty chill depending on where you're working. Like, I have my busy days and I have my slow weeks, my slow days, my slow weeks. But if you get into a shop that's just nonstop busy, you're nonstop just busting your ass all day, which I don't have a problem with. I actually enjoy it more when it's super busy. But you're also working in a 38 to 40 degree cooler every single day. Gianni Navi, thanks for the rose. Let me get this piece cut out and I'll slap this meat for you. Thanks for the rose. Hunter, thanks for the follow. Drew, thanks for the share. How often do you need to sharpen your knives? I technically really do need to sharpen all my knives other than this one. This one's brand new. I got it from a meat seminar. So for showing up, I got this given to me in my bag. But the knives that I normally use, my Knife Pro cutlery, it's Jace. Thanks for the rose. I appreciate the gift. My Knife Pro cutlery knives. Normally, you're gonna want to sharpen your knives every like 3 months, depending on how much you're using it. I can get by with 3 months. I have a whetstone, but it's really, really screwed up, so I don't want to use it and screw my knives up. It's not important. Thanks for the follow. But I've gotten by with about a year of not sharpening my knives, which is really bad, but they still work really, really good. So that's also a shout out to Knife Pro Cutlery for having really good quality knives. Candy, thanks for the follow. Coda, thanks for the follow. Young Fun, thanks for the follow. Good job, master job. I appreciate it. Hey everyone, that's my mom right here, Molly FRIYAYYY, author, creator. Yes, she is a published book author of a vampire trilogy called Fated. A vampire trilogy. It's a really, really great read. I understand you might think of sparkly and really bad acting and just kind of cringe stuff when you think of vampires because of Twilight. Delete that from your mind. It's a fantastic series. It's different. It's got a great twist. I helped with the twist in the second book. I helped name the characters. It's a fantastic read. So if you like reading, you know someone who likes reading, go on Amazon, look up Fated, 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 a vampire trilogy by Molly FRIYAYYY. Great read. You in the US or Canada? I'm in the United States. I live in Idaho. I work in Filer, Idaho. So if you're curious about where I work and you ever want to stop in to buy some meat, it's the only grocery store in Filer. I've read it and it's a really good book. Hey, thank you so much. Thanks for the support. So again, all I'm taking off is this. It's a protective layer between the meat and the bone. So at one point, a bone was resting on top of this layer, this protective layer that I just took out. Super smooth, so the bone just kind of gets to run across it, depending on how the meat, the area of the cow is being worked, bending and everything. So if it's in a spot that it bends, it helps that bone just kind of glide on over it if that's what it's needed. Jason, thanks for the follow. It does not taste good though, so I throw it away. What do you use for stew? I've had stew, it's really good. That's exactly what it is, stew meat. You know, you cook it on a pan. Emily, thanks for the heart, me. Thanks so much, I sent you a heart you back. Cook it on the stove, or you can probably just put it in the crock pot raw. And you just start making your stew, your vegetables, your broth, and you just let it cook in there. And then when it's done, you got cooked meat in the stew form. It's already cut up, so it's already tenderizing as it's cooking with all those juices and vegetables. And then grab a spoonful of that stew, and boom, you got your stew meat right there. Christine, thanks for the follow. Mara Sue, thanks for the follow. What kind of meat is that? This is our chuck tender. So we got this nerve piece right here. It's a nice old tendon nerve. Throw that away. We're just hanging out on the end of this. So I decide it's nice and trimmed up enough to my standards. Tail out. Take off this back piece right about there. Then we get, it's really ugly on this back end because of that nerve, tendon, whatever it is. So I take out this meat that I can save for the stew meat, set it aside. We'll come back to it once we're done with these bags of chuck tender. So these are 3 decent sized roasts. Keep using those for steaks, I guess. So looking at the other bag, I see 1 really big roast, 2 really big roasts in there, so trying to go about 5 for 5, 5 roasts for steaks, 5 for roasts. Logan, thanks for the follow. Let the knife do the work. Exactly. That's pretty much all I do. I just get right underneath it, right underneath the layer that I need to take out, and the knife just kind of glides and does its own work. When you first get into the meat room, if you're ever cutting meat and you feel like you're working slow, don't let that cut your confidence. It takes a little bit to be able to understand how to use the knife properly. Angles, pressure, feeling. Like when I get underneath a piece of meat or a piece of this connective tissue and I'm just gliding my knife right underneath it, I can feel that I'm still on top of the meat. And if I hit it at an angle and it makes it go into the meat, I can feel that I'm now in the meat and not on top of it. It's just experience that comes with the job. So when you're new into it, don't worry about speed, worry about technique and knowing what you're needing to do. Exactly what I was told. Sally Lardy, thanks for the share. JD7, thanks for the follow. Appreciate all the follows, all the shares. If I've somehow missed your gift, it's not my intention to miss your gift and to not thank you. So if you've sent a gift, I appreciate you. And there's some meat slaps for it. I try and get a meat slap in, a couple meat slaps in for every gift given. So if I do manage to miss it, just go ahead and let me know and I'll try and hopefully see your comment. Do you have to have any experience to get into this? Nope, you do not. If they really need help, they will train. Although you might not be doing this right off the get-go, you might just be doing pork to get meat slap is crazy. You might be doing pork to understand a little bit of knife technique, getting the use of how to get the motion right and everything. So you might not be starting right off onto beef, but when times are slow and there's time to train, that's when you will get put over onto the beef. just know you'll probably get started out on pork and chicken. I can't pronounce that UNKWXN. I can't. I don't want to butcher that. Thanks for the follow. Winter, thanks for the follow. It's all the asterisks and stuff all over the name. I don't know how to use those, so. Lucia, thanks for the follow. Breezy, thanks for the follow. Dad versus Takeout, thanks for the follow. Jimmy, thanks for the follow. Kenneth, thanks for the follow. A-Dog, thanks for the follow. How you been cutting? I've been cutting pretty good, I would say. Let's tap that screen. Let's try and get more people in here. More people we get in here, the more I slap my meat. Pretty sure we all like me slapping my meat, right? Isn't that like the main priority? We're here. Anna, thanks for the follow. Derek, thanks for the follow. CG Big T, thanks for the follow. Again, if you're not aware, I'm also live over on YouTube. So if you miss content, you miss a live, you want to see some longer videos, make sure to subscribe over to the YouTube to make sure you do not miss anything. How long have we been cutting? A little over 6 years, I'd say, managing right over that 5.5 as well. I was only cutting for about 6 months before I got bumped up to management, so obviously I was doing something right? It's just unknown with symbols from the phonetics alphabet and other alphabets. Ah, okay, gotcha. Shy Got Pics, thanks for the follow. Again, if I somehow missed a gift, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. As much as I hate these chuck tenders, I gotta do another bag. It's good for y'all though. It gets more content. Keeps me alive longer, right? Was I promoted because of what? So these aren't BLOOD stains on the cutting block. It's just meat juice. It's broken down protein. There might be a very small percentage of BLOOD in the meat. Very small percentage though. And just really hot water. I have to have really hot water back in my meat department and let it soak, scrub it. If it seems to not really be working, there still seems to be a pretty big stain on it after I've done my cleaning. I have a block whitener. It has some chemicals in it, some bleach. And I'll let that sit. I'll scrub it in, let it sit for like 30 minutes, come back, scrub it again. And usually after about 45 minutes of that sitting there, you spray it off. Got a white cutting board, grab your soap, scrub it all back off, get a good scrub in, get all those chemicals off, spray that off. You can do another soap layer, spray it off again, and then we got our I can't remember, I'm drawing a blank. Sanitizer, we got a sanitizer that we put on it, and that is that. Food grade sanitizer. Cheryl, thanks for the share. From India, I appreciate you for tuning in, especially on the YouTube. Thanks for the support. Matcha, really appreciate it. All right, so we got 3 roasts here that we're gonna go ahead and cut in some steaks real quick before we get on to the next bag. Got these by right there. I'll save these small ones for a small package because people want those small steaks for the younger kids. Holly, thanks for the follow, or thanks for the share. Thanks for the 2 shares. Appreciate it. One good thing to learn about technique with the knife is you want to do a good push forward and just slide it on back. It's really good technique instead of sawing it. Sometimes you'll see me sawing it. It's just, I don't know why I'm doing it, but I pretty much try to do that whole forward push like this. You see me sawing it, it's more just trying to get it in the knife into the meat, and then from there I'll do what I need to do. An exact amount just by looking at it, that takes a little bit. Still not the best with that, but I could still do a decent, pretty decent weight guesses while I'm cutting the meat. Western ribs out of the mock? No, but I know what you're talking about. I'll sometimes make beef country style ribs with that flat iron that I made into a roast. That makes some pretty good beef ribs too, boneless beef ribs. Where am I from? I'm originally born here in Idaho, in Boise. I grew up in Nevada though, and I've been back here for the last 10 years basically. We got a small steak package right here. And then on to the next bag. Still got 2 bags of tri-tip and 2 bags of eye round after this. Eye round, we're gonna be making some cube steaks, some stir fry maybe. Stir fry is pretty full right now, so it's gonna pretty much be some cube steaks and stew meat probably. Yes, I do use eye brown for stir fry. Some people want to try and frown on me for that, but it works. It sells, and I've never had anyone complain about it. So whatever the reason people want to complain at me for doing it that way, obviously people, my customers, don't have a problem with it. So that's all that matters for me, right? As long as it sells, they make my profit, I'm not doing anything wrong. Blaze, thanks for the follow. And sometimes if I take a little bit to tell my story, please, sir. I have a story told over on one of my YouTube videos of how I got to where I got. If you want to go take a stroll through my YouTube, I'm sure you can find that video pretty quick. It's within the last month that I posted it, I would like to say. It's about a 40-minute long video. Where did you get? What do you mean, where did you get? Again, thank you all for the support. If I missed any gifts, I appreciate the gifts. I am at work, so I am paying attention to not hurting myself while I'm doing this. So sometimes it takes me a little bit to get back to looking up at the chat. Where you are? Oh, yeah. I'm in Idaho. I live in Twin Falls, and I work in Filer. It's the only grocery store in Filer, so it's not too hard to find that out. It starts with an M. Ricky Chase, thanks for the follow. Cheryl, again, thanks for the follow. I really appreciate that support. Seems like it's a little thick down here with this silver skin. I don't really like super thick silver skin, so I'm gonna go ahead and just trim that off. Back piece you got to take out. It's super ugly. Use that for some stew meat. Use this one for another roast. There has to be another use for the trimmings. All my trimmings get made into ground beef. There's no use for the trimmings. Everything going in here, ground beef. if I can save a piece off of it and I can make it into stew meat, because stew meat is worth more than ground beef, then I do it, and then I make more money than what I'd be making with ground beef. Got a package right here that I'm just finishing up. Has 3 different kinds of meat in this stew meat package. We got shoulder clod, we got petite, and we got chuck tender. Pull the sleeves up. Rob, thanks for the share. Aaron, impressive. I appreciate the comment. Holly with another share. I appreciate it. Let's start tapping that screen. Tap, 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 tap. Kind of sound like a Dragon Ball character there. Tap, 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 tap. Going over to throwing punches. Yeah, 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 yeah. Vali, thanks for the share. Lindy, thanks for the follow. Bro, telling my friends to go to Twin. Been telling my friends that go to Twin about you. Hey, I appreciate that. Appreciate it. You can get my theory behind it is if I can post and tell people where I'm at, hopefully we get business. You know, it's free. God, I suck with words today. Free advertising. You know, my bosses aren't having to pay me to advertise or pay for a commercial or something. And at one point, you know, I'd have 16,000 people in here. I had to have I'm sure there's a majority of people that tune in from locally too, you know. So get more people in here to buy stuff. It helps out. It makes me look good. It makes the company look good. Can I explain what I'm cutting? This is a chuck tender. These are pretty good steaks to just grill up really quick. They're nice and cheap normally. When they're on sale, I don't have these on sale this week. So I think I have them about $6.99 and then $7.19. $6.99 for a family pack, $7.19 for a smaller pack. Usually a little bit more tender than those petite sirloin steaks. It is from that chuck area, so the meat. 1 second, TikTok. I have to do the puzzle thing after like an hour of being live. It's so stupid. I have to connect a little puzzle piece to. Are you still here? Yes, I'm still here. No, they are not good. Oh, they're not good? I've been told that they're pretty good. I have a couple customers that have been coming in. They say that they'll put these in the air fryer and they come out delicious. What's my favorite cut of meat? Ribeye, and then it goes into the top sirloin cap called the picanha, or the coulette, or the rump cap. Super, super, super good. I'll take that over a filet mignon. People will probably be like, wait, filet mignon is in your first or your second? It's not even in my top 5. Filet mignon, overrated. Overrated. Be respectful, exactly. Be respectful. If you got a problem, just fucking leave. Flat iron, that's a pretty good steak. I myself have never cooked it up. I do know that it is super tender just from looking at it and handling it. If I've never eaten a steak, just by cutting it and dealing with the meat, you can tell if it's tender or not. So I do know from experience and a lot of videos and chefs explaining how good of a cut of meat it is. I do know it is a good cut of meat. I'm not saying a filet mignon isn't a good cut of meat. I'm just saying it's overrated. I'm not gonna go spend $30-something a pound on a fucking steak. No, thank you. No, I'm good. You're wasting your money, in my honest opinion. If everyone would stop buying filet mignons at restaurants, they'd go down dramatically. If everyone stopped buying them in grocery stores, prices would go down on them. They'd have no choice but to figure out how to restructure the pricing for the cattle. Everything's so expensive now because during COVID, they jacked the prices up because they didn't have workers, so they're having to overwork workers, pay them more, la-da-da-da-da. Saw that, hey, people were still buying it with the prices going high. Well, shit, we'll just keep them up then. That's literally what happened. There's no reason for the meat prices to be as high as they are. I don't get to control it. If it comes in at a certain price, I have to sell it at a certain price to make my money off of it. But I will say, where's the skirt on your list of spinales? Or on my list? Skirt, I'd have in the top 10 at least. It just depends on what I'm wanting to do. You know, I like buying roasts, smoking roasts whole, and then cutting them down into steaks. That's how I like to barbecue. Gives a really good medium rare. Gives time for the meat to tenderize, to smoke. That's just how I prefer to do it, right? So if I have to do a roast, 9 times out of 10, if I have to buy a roast, it's going to be my top sirloin cat. Next would be tri-tip. If I'm going to do steaks, 10 out of 10 times, I'm going to choose a ribeye. A flank, I don't have flanks here. I can't sell a flank in this store to save my life. What would you have to sell a 7-bone roast to make anything from it? They don't do 7-bone roasts anymore, unfortunately. But if you're ordering one in and you were going to sell it, normally those come in at about low $3 range. With how big of a piece it is. Shit, might even be in that $2 range. I can't remember what it was because I haven't seen those in like 5 years. Like they stopped making them because the meat producers, the meat company, they pretty much lose money when they do 7-bone chuck roasts because they're not getting their chuck separation, they're not getting their shoulder clawed. It's just all in one big piece, so they don't get to break it down. Because of how big of a piece it is and how many pieces are in one piece, they don't get to jack the price up on it. They still make them. They do still make them, but they don't do them over. They don't do them here, at least in Idaho anymore, from what I've seen. Or at least over on the western side of the states. But if you're getting it in for about that $280 to $350 range, you're selling that for like $5 something. Pretty decent, pretty good deal. But it is a really big piece of meat as well. What part of Idaho do I live in? I live in Twin Falls, so I'm in the southern part, right before you get to Nevada. And I work in Filer. It's the only grocery store here, so it's pretty easy to find. Least favorite piece of meat is this chuck tender. I hate these things. They're just tedious, pain in the ass. If you cut meat, you would agree with me. Good thing is about this though, when I come in tomorrow and I have to trim up, cut a couple of these bags down for trim to make ground beef with. Pretty much the only thing I'm looking for when I go to cut them down is if there's a bone on it. If there's no bone on it, just cutting it off into the trim to get ground down. So relaxing watching you cut meat. Hey, I appreciate that. See that? That's not BLOOD. That's just myoglobin, hemoglobin, myoglobin. Broken down meat protein, that's all it is. whenever you go into a grocery store and you grab a package of meat and it seems to be leaking a little bit because the meat's breaking down its protein, just know that, yeah, it is probably a little disgusting. You're getting some sticky juice on your hand, but it is not BLOOD. So there's no need to really freak out about it, all right? Speaking to you ladies, it is a little nasty. It is some sticky animal juice, but it is not. There's no need to freak out, all right? TOS, I wouldn't say TOS, but there are words that you will say and people will, hey, graphic warning, you know, la da 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 being said, or la da 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 happens in this video. So I don't want a warning, a PG-13 warning type of thing. Looks like eye of round. We got eye of round up right after tri-tip. This is chuck tender, your mock tender, your Scotch tender. Wherever you're located, it's one of those three. Gonna be doing some eye of round last for some cube steaks, potential stew meat, depending on how much stew we get from these chuck tenders and tri-tip. Again, if you barbecue tri-tip and you cut it up after you've done smoking it, doing whatever you do with the roast, and it's not tender, it seems to be tough, you're probably cutting it wrong. So you're probably gonna want to tune in, stay tuned in for when I get to these tri-tips so you can see how you're supposed to cut them down. I do have a video out on my TikTok and my YouTube, I'm pretty sure, so you can also just go ahead and look at that. More fun to hang around watching me slap my meat. Ooh, speaking of slapping my meat. Thank you all for the new new followers, any gifters I've missed. Appreciate you all. Don't forget to tap that screen. You know, there's like tap that screen. Shoulder clod makes good stew, that it does. Am I live every day? I try to go live whenever I can. If it's super slow back here, not much to do, can't really go live, right? Tappy tap, 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 tap. Meat daddy, ooh. Ooh, woo. You're not throwing in the trash? If I'm not throwing it in the trash, it goes into my trim bucket. And the trim bucket gets made into ground beef. I work in the meat department too. I'm cutting meat as well. Hell yeah. How's your day going? Pretty much Friday for me. I do gotta come in tomorrow, but that's pretty much just to order, maybe cut a ribeye, and probably do some ground beef. So I'll probably just be here for a couple hours tomorrow. I'm not waking up early. I'll wake up, watch some Solo Leveling, watch some Dragon Ball Daima, and then I'll come into work. Do I get many women that do this job? The boss where I took over from when I moved to Idaho, she was my manager, and she'd been in the business for a while. When I was working between two stores when I moved here, the helper at one of the stores, she was just supposed to be like a wrapper and cleaner, but she'd been trained how to cut meat. So there's been a couple of women since I've been in the business that I've met, but it's been more men than women. It's dramatically more men than women. Sorry, it's cold in here. I'm just getting over being sick. Do you conceal carry? I know you can out there. I need to get one that I can put on my hip first. My brother thinks that's just a waste of money, but I'm just like, fuck no, I want one. I goddamn want one. You're a cop, you can carry one all the goddamn time. I'm a pedestrian, I'd like to carry one all the goddamn time. OMG, I cut about 100 pounds a day in a small grocery store. 1,000 pounds a day in a grocery store. Hell yeah, brother. I'm just in Filer, Idaho, so I don't have the biggest shop, you know what I mean? Go ahead and get all this cut down to some stew meat, and then move on to some tri-tip. This won't take too long. I'll kind of speed through this process. You're just slow as hell today on Valentine's Day. I'm butterflying a boneless rib to make hearts. Yep. I'll be cutting thick ribeyes to cut those thick ribeyes in half to cut them into heart-shaped ribeyes. It's one thing I really like about Valentine's Day. I get to make heart-shaped ribeyes. It's pretty cool. It's pretty aesthetically pleasing to me. Lil, thanks for the follow. I've officially made it to Meat Talk, I guess. And if you follow, you've officially joined the Meat Army. So if you ain't following, make sure to follow and also subscribe on the YouTube to join the Meat Army. Oh yeah, they're cool to do. They're pretty fun. What brand of knife do I use? I normally use Knife Pro Cutlery, which are these. But those need to be sharpened. So I'm using a brand new Victorinox knife that I have that was given from a meat seminar for showing up. Both are fantastic quality. I'm not going to take anything away from Victorinox, but I will say Knife Pro Cutlery, he hand sharpens these himself on the stones before he sends them out. I'll even make a potential video on TikTok with your order if you go and comment on one of his videos, telling him, hey, just place an order, here's my order number, can I get a video? He might make a video for you. So he hand sharpens them personally himself. Victorinox, I'm sure they send these through a conveyor and they get laser sharpened. Nothing against that, but a laser sharpened edge is going to lose its edge quicker than if it was sharpened on a stone. That is facts. Dexter's knives, nice. Do I work for a grocery store? I do. I'm the meat department manager. Got a nice little stew pile up right here. Get it all mixed up. Two packages of stew meat down. 1 second. Gotta blow my nose. Trick I do use, I keep my gloves on. My hands are still clean. Hola, amigo. ¿Cómo te llama, Tristan? Buenos dias. Hola. I'm really bad at Spanish. I'm sorry. Me speak chiquito español. Right? Little. Chiquito. That's little, right? That was good. Hey, thank you. Poquito. Okay. Mermaid Sam, thanks for the follow. Now we're gonna go on to some tri-tip. Go ahead and get this nice. Poquito, gotcha. Hey, I don't don't know that one. Do I like ribeye cap steaks? Yes. Whenever I buy a ribeye, I grab a ribeye that has the biggest cat piece. I live and die by that. Miss being a butcher. Careful, if there are actual butchers in here, they might come after you for calling me a butcher. I just call myself a meat cutter. If I call myself a butcher in front of a butcher, they blow a gasket. So on this back end of this tri-tip, super ugly. No need to leave that on for it, so I always take that off. It's just pretty much a really thick piece of fat. And then you get this really ugly belly side right here. There's a really ugly thick piece of fat. I'll go ahead and try and take it out. That's gonna make a good roast. I like to put my roasts in a 10p tray. Do a typo. Jakira, thanks for the follow. And if anyone is not aware, I'm also live over on YouTube. So if you like this content, you like to see longer videos, or if you somehow missed a live, make sure you follow and subscribe over on the YouTube. Make sure you never miss another video. Saving this tray right here for my cube sticks. I don't gotta bend down to grab the trays after every time. What do you do with the trimmings? I'm a butcher in the UK, but we have cutters also. You always do a good job. But hey, I appreciate it. All my trimmings go into this trim bucket to make ground beef with it at the end of the day. I will be making it tomorrow. My helper made a bunch of ground beef yesterday when he wasn't supposed to. Just saving my boxes for tomorrow because AFS didn't send me 80/20. I ordered it and it didn't pop up on my invoice. It's like the 5th time in like a month and a half that I've ordered something and it doesn't even pop up on the invoice. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's a order issue or if it's AFS issue or what it is, but it's getting a little annoying. So I have no ground beef to really make with tomorrow, so I'm trying to just save the trim bucket till tomorrow. And then I'll cut a bunch of chuck tenders up, and that's what I'll make my ground beef with. I'll be making like dimes to the pound for it, but you gotta do what you gotta do so you don't have an empty ground beef counter, right? So I need a new helper. No, he thought he was helping me out because he's not going to be here tomorrow, which also just didn't really make sense. But he's still learning. He's still learning. He's supposed to call me when he goes to make ground beef to ask, but he had an oof. Everyone has an oof every now and then, so. Butchering is a lost art, it is. I really want to learn the whole breakdown. It's not that I don't not want to learn it. That's why I haven't learned it. It's one, no one really around here does it unless you work for them. So you're not going to really get taught unless you work for someone. And two, if I do try to go find someone, I have to drive like 30, 45 minutes. Maybe even longer. So I'm trying to eventually try and find somewhere, but to learn. Right now, if it ever happens to it, it's just, I just have to know someone who knows how to teach me. If I was gonna get a gold star and made it noops instead, yeah, basically. He was like, I was like, why are you making 93? He's like, so you have backstock. I was like, I think there's enough to get through for the day. Which there was. I was like, but I didn't order any 93.7 in because I didn't want to have my purchase. I didn't want to order something that it didn't need to order and could have got by with till Monday. So I didn't order any 93.7 because those 3 tubes would have been perfect for me to make tomorrow. So now I'm just like, well, You live and you learn. What did we learn today? Which chat am I reading? I'm reading both. YouTube hasn't really moved at all in the last, I don't know, I'd say 30 minutes. So just taking a quick glance over to YouTube every now and then. You think learning to cut makes you home cooking better? Learning to cut, making home cooking better. I think it gives you a little bit more respect for your cooking. You learn a little bit more. You know, a lot of people think that fat is extra money that they're just wasting money on. Fat is flavor, and fat also helps tenderize the meat. The juices that the fat produces seeps inside the meat and tenderizes the meat. If you don't like fat, by all means, cut the fat off after you've cooked it. You don't need to eat it. But I do recommend, if you see a piece of meat on the counter and has fat on it, it's the recommended fat that we're supposed to leave on, and you need to cook with it. If you don't like it, then don't eat it. Straight up. But I will say, if I leave fat on, it's either one, it's gonna taste good when you actually eat the fat, or two, it's gonna help the cooking process. So if you don't want to eat it, by all means, then just leave it on for the cooking process and then take it off. That's all you gotta do. But I just got into cooking more because, you know, I was constantly dealing with meat. So I was just like, why not learn how to cook it? So that's what got me into cooking and barbecuing and everything. BRXTSH, thanks for the follow. That makes perfect sense. I thought so, but thank you. I'm glad I'm not going crazy, just ramble-jambling. Now we're gonna go ahead and cut this into steaks. So if you ever smoked a tri-tip and then went to cut it into steaks afterwards and it was tough and not tender, you cut it wrong. You probably cut it straight up and down, you know, from here to here. You probably cut it straight up and down. It's not how you want to cut it. The grain is running sideways. So what we do is we cut it diagonal across this. Diagonal, horizontal. I'm really bad at that stuff. Just know that it's not straight up and down, it's sideways, right? So then we're just gonna go ahead and we'll be cutting this sideways. And your steaks should be looking nice and beautiful. What's the difference between chuck and ground beef? Chuck is ground beef. That's what it is. And chuck is chuck. Chuck's a whole version of ground beef, basically, or one version of ground beef. I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly enough for you, but ground beef is anything that's ground. Chuck is a cut of meat, just like this is tri-tip. I could grind this down and be called ground tri-tip, but it'd still be about 80-20. It'd still be 80-20 ground meat. But because it's tri-tip, I'm gonna charge you tri-tip price for it. What I charge these steaks for is what you're gonna get charged the ground beef for. So if you're having someone grind up a specific cut, you're gonna be paying that cut's price. Now if you want just regular 80-20, regular 93, then you pay the 93 and 80-20 price that's from the trim bucket. This genuinely looks like a fun job. It's more fun when you have music playing, so you're kind of just jamming out, singing, cutting, slapping your meat, making inappropriate jokes. 70-30, too much fat for me. I like 80-20. Who's your knife made by? This one's Knife Pro Cutlery. It is in my TikTok showcase. This is my 11-inch steak knife. Blue handled one is a 9-inch fillet knife. This is a Victorinox knife, so I don't have any links for them. They didn't want to sponsor me, so. Looks like small steaks though. This is tri-tip. That's about 5 inches. I've heard some ladies say 5 inches is a pretty big piece of meat. So if you think 5 inches is a small steak, 8 is the norm. You're thinking like 8 inches or like 8 inches? Which rule of measuring we using here? We're using guy measuring or we're using actual measuring here? 6 to 8 ounces. I'd say this one's about, all right, this one I'd say is about, yeah, I gave it about 8 to 10 ounces. Hoping there's no cameras in here. There's no cameras in here. Only camera is what's going on in front of me. That's what I said, 8 to 10. This one's 8 to 10. This is about half a pound, I'd say. It looks a little bit bigger because of the angle I'm presenting it at, you know what I mean? It's a pretty good size, I'd say. It's all about the angles. That is true. Us hunters do know that. We can make y'all think we just shot a 60-inch buck and that thing's only 12 inches. Hello from Alaska. Ooh, hello from Idaho. I really want to visit Alaska. That's one place I want to go. I want to do some hunting up there and I want to do some fishing up there as well. Howdy from South Georgia. Georgia. I want to throw and catch you. I don't know what you mean by that. I'm going to keep it 100. I don't know what you mean by that. Is this your company? No, I eventually want my own catering company or my own meat shop. I did want my own barbecue trailer, but at this point of meat prices and everything, I feel like a barbecue truck would be more cost-worthy than catering. Eventually getting catering into like a food truck maybe, but I'd really like my own catering trailer to go and cater around at events, weddings, birthday parties, and then or have my own meat shop and attach like a little restaurant onto it. So, you know, meat's starting to get a little old. It's not bad, but you know, it's starting to get a little to the point where if I cut it and put it out on the counter, is it gonna sell or am I gonna end up losing money on it? So instead of that, just put it into the smoker. I have no waste at that point. You know, steaks start to go bad, cook it and smoke it and do whatever I need. I personally think if I had a meat shop with a small little restaurant attached to it, a barbecue, you know, barbecue shop, there'd be no waste and it'd just be all profit. That's how I personally think. Having a bad day, can I slap something for you? Slap my meat. Watching from the snowy Mississippi Gulf Coast. Ooh, Mississippi. Are the tri-tip steaks popular? I've only seen the whole tri-tip steaks. Yes, no, the tri-tip steaks are pretty popular. I have, when they go on sale, it's normally $8.99 a pound for a roast or steak family pack. But I ordered these straight out of the book, not on sale, just because the tri-tips have been moving pretty good. So these are gonna be $9.99 a pound for steak or roast. And I'm expecting them to still move. You know, a lot of the time, I've explained to the people, because people have said, you know, I bought tri-tip as a roast and I gone home and cooked it and then it just wasn't tender. It was super tough. So I haven't bought tri-tip again. And I've explained to them, you probably cut it wrong. You probably didn't cut it with the grain. You probably didn't think about it. And so you cut it wrong. And so it was tough. Tri-tip is great. I smoked 100 pounds of it for my stepsister, sister, screw stepsister. She was my sister. She was my stepsister for like 15 years. She's my sister. Smoked 100 pounds for her wedding over the summer. Came out fantastic, and that's where I really realized that I could do the catering thing, you know? We go beef fillet for $9.99 in 2 weeks. Damn. Oh, Strapsis, you want some? Come on! I bet she appreciates that, attaboy. Yep, I didn't get paid a cent. I walked out of there with three bags of pellets though, so I took that as my payment. Michael Kitzelman, thanks for the follow. What is your price prediction for meat? Do you think it will get more and more expensive? Nope. I think with Mr. Daddy Trump coming in, I think I would hope that prices should start to get a little bit more cheaper, especially if we're going to start drilling. Gas prices will come down eventually. So the cost to move a cow from one place to another won't be that expensive anymore. So I would expect within the next year meat prices start to come down. I would hope so. Where do you get your meat? I know our AFS warehouse, so not our warehouse, but the Associated Foods that we order from is out of Salt Lake. So wherever they get their meat from, that's where we get our meat. But I do know we order from Associated in Salt Lake. We had dry tips on shrimp for $3.99 a pound last week. It was a crazy choice on my prime. Jesus fuck, $3.99 a pound? That's crazy. What's up with all the food getting chemicals? That's all government stuff. You know, I don't get any choice on that. I do know for a fact meat does not get dyed. It does not get injected with water. That is all a lie. Meat is not dyed red. It's all fake. Now, as for like cereal and like all the other foods getting like the red dye and all those other stuff, I completely agree. You know, Canada has done a little bit of that right. There's cereals that y'all order that we same brand and everything, but they get made differently in the wherever it's made in the production to go up to Canada because of the chemicals that they put into it for us Americans. So hoping with Trump's whole thing coming in with who was that? Was that Robert F. Kennedy? Is that who it is? I'm hoping when he comes in, you know, I can't remember what guy it is. The guy who's all for trying to change this, RFKS. He's trying to do a bunch of shit to change all those chemicals being illegal too, so can only hope that we start going on the right path here and not worrying about putting money into corporate pockets and start worrying about us citizens more. Can meat places choose and keep the government out of their food? Yes, they can. I mean, pretty much they're the ones who choose what the meat prices are. That's pretty much what it is. They saw that they can make a bunch of money, so that's what they're doing. They put prices up during COVID. Everyone still bought it. They were still buying it after COVID, so they thought, why make it come back down? We're making all this extra money. Let's keep it going. So I'm hoping with everything, you know, that's going to start hopefully happening within the next year, I hope meat prices do come down. There's really no reason for them to be as high as they are. Just straight up, there's no reason for meat prices to be as expensive as they are. There's no reason. And that's a fact. Wet food just got banned by the FDA, so it's only a matter of time. Let's go. That's exactly what we're talking about. Probably lost some people tuning in, but they're just brainwashed people, so it's all good. Do you recommend leaving a little fat for flavor? I always recommend leaving a little bit of fat for flavor. There are some tri-tips so the tri-tips that we order in, they're peeled. So non-peeled tri-tips, this whole back side actually has a fat cap. It's like a little half-inch thick of fat. So normally if I order those in, I trim up a little bit of the fat to thin it down a little bit. But if I ever buy a tri-tip, I want this whole side to just be covered in fat. Because then I smoke it fat side up, and as I'm smoking, all those fat juices are trickling through the meat, getting it nice and juicy. Rachel, thanks for the heartbeat. I appreciate it. So I prefer fat, especially if I'm smoking. If I'm doing a quick sear on something, a quick cook, so like flat iron, skirt steak, you don't really need all that extra fat on there. You're gonna go with that intermuscular marbling fat, and that's where you're gonna get all your fat from to get it all juicy and everything. But roasts, it's gonna sit there for hours, and all those juices are just gonna seep into that meat and just soak into it and just tenderize it. Do I prefer local beef over shipped beef? I've never had local beef, so I really wouldn't know the difference. I would prefer local beef just to help support local farmers, but it's not always going to be better when it's local, because the local farmers could just be dealing with select just to be able to make their money, you know what I mean? What is up, Cool Cat? What brand of knives do you recommend in style? I really, really, really recommend the Knife Pro cutlery knives. I'm not using my small one just because this one's sharper at this time in life, at this specific time in life right now. This one's a year old. This edge is a year old. It's still plenty sharp, but this one's just more satisfying to cut with right now. And I think the Knife Pro cutlery, the handles are a little bit more comfortable too. I just feel like my finger hold is just more comfortable than the Victorinox. But I recommend Knife Pro cutlery, and they are in my TikTok showcase. What all do I plan to cut on live today? We've done shoulder clod, aka cross rib. We've done petite. We've done chuck tender. We're finishing up with tri-tip right now. We're going to finish cutting all these into steaks. And then we're going to do some I've round into some cube steaks. And that is all the beef we'll be cutting today. I'll have a little bit of pork I need to cut after I get all this wrapped. But my phones are going to be dead by the time we get to pork. So I'm not going to be able to cut pork on live today. But we'll be live again next week. Trying to go as live as much as I can. If I don't have to train and I got plenty to cut, I will be live. If I have to train and I don't have too much to cut, probably be just a little TikTok video or YouTube video, maybe a long video with some explanation on YouTube. But make sure you go and follow on there. Matthew, thanks for the follow. What is that? I see something about Twin Falls. People use a lot of rub, but when meat starts to sweat, most rub falls off. Not really. I tend to season my meat and put it in the fridge for anywhere from a whole day to a half a day. About 4 hours before I cook it, I'll uncover it to help it kind of like dry out, to get that nice good sear on it. But usually have it seasoned a whole day before I cook it, so the flavor gets into the meat and that seasoning has plenty of time to get attached to it as well. If you're worried about it sweating off, then use a binder. I don't like mustard, so I don't use mustard as a binder. If I'm gonna use a binder, I'll use mayo though. Mayo is also a good binder, and it leaves a really good crust. You didn't know that? Now you know. Again, really nice looking tri-tip here. Is there a difference in meat or quality when the package of meat says choice or prime quality? Yes. Select is the bottom of the barrel. So if you ever see a package of meat say select, That's cheap meat. That means it's not gonna have good marbling on it. It's not gonna be that tender, right? Choice is the middle. Prime is the top. It's right before we get into that Wagyu. So us Americans, we normally deal with choice to prime, and then depending on where you're at, you know, small town or mainly small towns, you know, that don't really have too much people there, they're gonna have select meat, and that's just because choice is more expensive than select, but they don't have quite a lot of customers going through the store. You don't want to be spending a bunch of money on more expensive meat, so they'll bring in the select. Like this place was select meat, and then Jack Rass, thanks for the follow, and then I bumped it up to CAB, so that's certified Angus beef. So that's the top of the spectrum before prime. It's choice, but it's like the best choice that you can get, basically, is CAB. Drew, thanks for the follow. Gotcha. How were you able to bump it up? Sales? I'm the manager here, so I just went and told my boss. I went and told him, I was like, you know, I don't like the way Select looks. The quality isn't as great. It doesn't hold up as long. I'd like to move over to CAB. I feel like it would benefit. And he was like, you're the boss, so if you think so. And I bumped it up, and I haven't really had a problem with selling it. You know, I'm gonna have a little bit harder time selling my ribeyes, just because ribeye is very expensive right now, so I have to sell it for very expensive. But other than that, I really don't have a problem selling tri-tip. I don't have a problem selling my chuck, cube steaks. Don't really have a problem with really anything. So everyone says that the counter looks great, the meat quality is great, and that's all we're really going for. So Megan, thanks for the follow. Travis, thanks for the follow. Gonna be moving on to Eye of Round for some cube steaks. Get all this cut up really quick for some stew meat. Appreciate everyone who's been hanging out. Appreciate the follows. If I've somehow missed a gift, the last thing I want to do is miss a gift and not thank you for it. So I slap my meat. Thank you for your gift. Can you buy both levels of it, get cheaper ribeye? I could get select ribeye, but then I'm having select meat and choice meat, and it's not really something you want in your counter. I could get regular choice ribeye, CAB, but the price in that really, it's like 20 cents difference, so there's really no point in really switching it up. It was like a $4 difference, you know, probably, but right now I got a box of ribeye in yesterday for, I think it was $12, $13 a pound. So normally I got to sell that at, let's see if I can do the math here internally real quick. I don't go for 30% on my ribeyes or my New Yorks, because if you're going for 30%, I'm getting it in for 13. I need to have a 13 be 6, 50. I think that one's actually on sale. Price has gone down a little bit on the ribeye, because full price, I need for 30%. I need to be selling that at about $19. I'd say about $19, $20 after you got to trim it up a little bit. So this is Eye of Round. I'm taking all the fat off because I'm going to be doing some cube steaks with it. George with the chili. Thanks with the chili, George. Hello, Georgie. Thanks for the chili. Taking off all the fat and the connective tissue on this Eye of Round though, because we're going to be making cube steaks. cube steaks, we need all the fat and all the connective tissue off. I don't understand. Your team has completed the first stage of the team quest. I don't understand what that is, but okay. Good job. Good job, team. Good job, Meat Army. Don't know what that is, but you can also show a little bit more support over on the TikTok with the subscriptions. I really don't know what subscriptions are on TikTok, but if you want to show a little bit extra support, be the first subscriber. That was me, LOL. Appreciate it, Georgie. Completed the team. Well, welcome to the Meat Army. Brown's pretty easy. A lot of the times you see me goofing around, making my don't react challenges or whatever. It's usually eye round. Why do you slap it? Binky baby, thanks for the follow. So everyone tunes in to watch me slap my meat. And pretty much anytime you go through TikTok and you see a meat cutter live, pretty much anytime you ask them to slap their meat, they say, no, I don't slap my meat. I'll slap my meat. I'll slap it. No problem with it. No problem slapping my meat here. Gotta have a little bit of fun, right? If you just want to be all serious all the time, what's the point? Cube steaks, it's pretty much steaks that we're gonna send through the tenderizer. We'll do that once we get all this done. Family packs get 4. There's a family pack. There's another family pack. It's another small one. And then I do need a little bit of stew meat, so we'll use this back end as well as that front end piece. Some stew meat. Another package. Oh god, scared me. Making cube steaks is my least favorite thing to do. The tenderizer we had was sketchy. Never had a problem with my tenderizer. I actually keep the lid up and just put a magnet on it so I don't have to clean the little slot between the meat and the tenderizer, but I've never had any problems with the tenderizer. What do you mean by it was sketchy? Never heard of a sketchy tenderizer before. George! Thanks for the 2 roses. Appreciate it. Thank you, Georgie. Thanks for the TGIF, Georgie. Where's the knife from? This one's a Victorinox knife. Oh my god! He's going crazy! He's going crazy! With the TGIF Heart Puff. Dalgona candy. It's corn. And the lightning bolt. And the GGs. Thank you, Georgie. In the ice cream cone. Oh my god. He's going off. And the TikTok. This is a Victorinox knife. 2025. What else did he send? Is there another one? Okay, no. Looks like we're good. It looks like I'm more caught up. These are my Knife Pro cutlery. These are what I prefer to use. But this one needs sharpened. My whetstone has really severely screwed up. I need to order another one. And this Victorinox is a brand new knife that I got from meat seminar. So brand new knives are sharp, so I'm just using a brand new knife. Victorinox is what I used when I first got into the meat department, but when I started doing TikTok, this knife pro guy asked if I would like to try his knives, tried them out. I stopped using my Victorinox knives, so. From person to person, the opinion's gonna be a little bit different, but I really like the quality and effort that he puts into his company, so. Does that shrink wrap say Excel on them? I think so. I'd go look at a shrink wrap box. Georgie with the let him cook. Let him cook. But I just put a new roll on my wrapper. When was that? The other day. So I don't have a spare box to look at to double check it. Paper crane. Appreciate it, Georgie. Sorry, I gotta say it like Pennywise. I don't know why. Hope that's okay. If it's not, I can say it normally. Merry Christmas. Hey, I appreciate it. Appreciate the support, man. Just wondering if it's the same primal cuts I get from the grocery store. Depending on where you live, my meat I get comes from Salt Lake. I don't know where their meat comes from, where it gets shipped to them from, but the associated warehouse I order from is in Salt Lake. So if you're within the radius of that, I'm guessing it's the same meat. Excel shrink wrap, it's just different brands. Rage Eddie Ogre, right? Anyway, thanks for the Dalgona candy. I appreciate it. Arizona, I get Excel. Oh, Excel beef. Okay. No, I don't want to get Excel beef. I get IBP and Swift. Sorry, I get what you're saying now. For Christmas, my ribeyes that I was getting was Excel. Now I get it. I thought you meant the shrink wrap, not the box. Sorry. Fucking retarded sometimes. That's my me. I short out sometimes upstairs. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. It just happens. What are you cutting? This is Ive round. I'm cutting it into steaks to go ahead and be tenderized for cube steaks. Drew another blank there. Like, Jesus. All cool, bro. Better be all cool. I'm just kidding. Mixing that little bit of stew meat that I had left into the other packages. I just got flagged. I don't know what for. I guess someone's reporting me. So if the live goes down, you can blame whatever haters out there. I wish I could tell y'all who it was, but probably some jealous individual who's miserable with their life. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo for you. I I know who you voted for. Starts with camel and ends with toe. All right, I'm gonna go get set up for the cube steaks. I just gotta bring my other rack around so I could go ahead and set my phones up on it to let y'all see me tenderize this meat. So give me about 30 seconds and I'll be right back. That's also why y'all should go follow me and subscribe on the YouTube as well. Because if I get kicked off of here because of some petty ass person, you can still find me over on the YouTube. So make sure you go over to the YouTube as well. Also, if you've never had the seasoning, it's Chef Merito steak and meat seasoning for carne asada. This stuff is bussin'. It's got a hint of lime to it. Oh my god, it is so good. Tap those hearts, tap, tap, tap. Why do people report educational lives? I will never understand. Because they're upset that I mention Papa Trump or say something that just hurts their feelings because they have no sense of humor. They grew up needing to be in bubble wrap. Everything hurts their feelings. Can't think for themselves. Gotta be told how to think, what to support. JD, thanks for the heart me. I appreciate it. I'll grab a roast and slap it for you really quick. Thanks for the gift, I appreciate it. All right, so pretty simple here. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna turn this on and we just run the meat through. A couple times, so it goes looking like this to looking like this. Makes it easier to eat. You know, maybe your teeth aren't that strong or you're just getting old, don't have the jaw power. Makes it easier to chew up and cut. This is usually for chicken fried steak. If you didn't know, chicken fried steak isn't normally chicken, it's tenderized beef. I'm also from England, let me tell you, we need Trump, exactly. That's me because I have no teeth. I'll probably be there eventually. Don't have the money to go to the dentist all the time, so. We're waiting for tax return season right now. I'm reading the YouTube ones. What am I cutting? I round in cube steaks. Cube steak is for the elderly. That's normally who I see buying them. Sorry for the squeak. It's also why you want all that fat taken off, because even though the fat's getting tenderized, it can still be a little bit chewy. So you want all that fat and all that connective tissue off so you don't got to worry about it being chewy in some spots. It says your settings deleted it. What settings deleted what? What did my settings delete, George? It's letting you type USA right there. Chicken fried steak sandwich. Ooh, I bet that would be good. Oh, I have repetitive comments turned off or whatever. To have people spamming like vegan type of thing. So you can't repeat one word or something like that. At least I think that's one option that I have turned off, because there used to be a lot of people spamming stupid stuff like that. There's a couple words I have banned. I think sucks might be banned. Not 100% sure. The damn Charlies. This is a tenderizer. I'm tenderizing the steaks to make them into cube steaks. Cube steaks are more for elderly people or people who have teeth problems, gum problems, your teeth aren't the strongest. Easier way for them to eat. Now that we got all that nice and done though, it is time to go to the wrapping spot. Let's go and wrap some meat. Get all this set up real quick again. Give me a couple seconds. Why don't we have that in the UK? Don't have what in the UK? What don't you have in the UK, Emily? You guys don't have cube steaks there? You guys don't have cube steaks? Weird. You don't need that specific machine. You can just grab a mallet with like those little bumps on the, like the teeth on the end of them. And you can just beat a piece of meat, and that also tenderizes it and makes it into a cube steak. Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to go live and wrap this meat with y'all. This roll is being very, 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 very squeaky. If it gets annoying, y'all, I'm sorry. I'll go live. I'll stay live. But with the squeaky rolling, there's nothing I can do about it. I've taken it off and I've looked at it several times. It's a brand new roll, so it could just be that it's a brand new roll. But squeakiness, I'm sorry, y'all. It's gonna be there. I need to go get my rack back. 1 second. Cube steak is amazing, very tender, or a fork. Or yeah, you can just stab it a bunch of times with a fork. Sorry, it's gonna be a little squeaky. If everyone starts complaining about it, I'll just end the live, but I'm just gonna give y'all a forewarning. We got a squeaky roll. It's more annoying than it is to me than it is to you, I promise. I'm the one having to deal with it all day. WD-40, it's not the equipment holding the roll, it's the roll squeaking. It's the rolling on the plastic thing. Nothing I can do. Am I busy all day, every day? Not really. There's like yesterday was pretty dead. Wednesday I had more to do, but that's also because I was sick earlier this week. Had a very sore throat. I got stew meat on sale for not on sale, just normally $6.59 a pound. Cube steaks. Family pack is $7.09 a pound. While the individual or the smaller ones are $7.39 a pound. My most expensive cut would be ribeye. That comes in, I think it just came in on yesterday, Monday. It's supposed to come in Monday, but it didn't come in. So then they sent it yesterday. And I want to say it came in at like 13 something a pound. It's the most expensive piece of meat that I have. Do I sell filet steak? Williamson Valley, I think is what the company is. They sell bacon wraps, filet mignon steaks, and I'll order those in. But because those sell for $9.99 a pound when they're on sale, so $9.99 a pound for a bacon wrap filet mignon steak, that's a pretty bitchin' deal. So I'll bring those in. But other than that, no, I don't bring in fillets. I'm working in a butcher shop right now too, and there's nothing to cut. It's been very, very weird. Christmas and Thanksgiving was dead. Like I was having to get rid of my ribeyes for $2.99 a pound the last couple days that I had them so that they did not go bad. It was ridiculous at how slow the holiday was, and that's because of the economy. So hopefully the economy gets a little bit better and prices go back down, and yeah. CAB, that's exactly what I have, the certified Angus beef. What they look like, these ribeyes were excellent. They were select. Again, not the best, but they looked really good. I had them at $2.99 a pound because I had 6 cases. At this point, I had just a case left, but I had 5 days to get rid of a whole case of ribeye. So, $2.99 a pound to just get rid of it the last like 2 days that they were here. And yeah, I had the same thing with New Yorks. I've been selling whole New Yorks for the last 3 weeks for $5.99 a pound. E3 Entricity. Thanks for the rose, I appreciate it. Smells like roses in here. My top seller would be ground beef, petite sirloin, and New York right now because I have New York steaks at $8.99 a pound. If it wasn't for the $8.99 a pound, it would be carne asada, petite. Yeah. Thanks for the heart me as well. Oh my goodness. Thank you for I send you a heart you back. I appreciate the gift. Entricity. I really, really appreciate it. I hope I'm not completely butchering your name. Hi, first time watching you. What state am I in? I am from Idaho. Carne asada kind of moves pretty quick out of the counter here. Like generally pretty quick. Moto, thanks for the follow. Scrubbing Apartments, thanks for the follow. Do you order your meat cases from Slave lot warehouses, Associated, we get all of our meat from Associated. Intricity, thanks for the TGIF. Oh my God, she's spamming gifts. W's in the chat for Intricity, thanks for the TGIF, the chili, it's corn, ice cream cone, the TikTok, lightning bolt, 2025, heart puff, the GG, the Dalgona candy. Appreciate it. Thank you. W's in the chat for Intricity. Jess, thanks for the follow. Again, I try and thank every time I see a gift. If I have missed your gift, I'm sorry. I am at work, so get a little bit sidetracked. I get all my meat from the woods. That's how I prefer to do it. I'm a hunter myself. I'm doing cleanup tonight. Yes, I'm the only one here today, so cutting all this meat. I'm wrapping all this meat. I'll do a little bit of pork after I get all this out on my counter. I'll wrap that, and then I'll clean up. Can you tell when the beef any cut has been cut? Corn-fed beef that is grass-fed? Yes. Corn-fed has a little bit of a yellow tint to the fat. Grass-fed, the marbling isn't the best. And then grain-fed's usually the best. As far as marbling goes. You can see that marbling better. Eric, thanks for the follow. How many people do you have in my meat department? Mainly just me, and I have a helper. He doesn't cut any meat. I did just have him cut up some pork last Friday, just so he was doing something, and I'll give him a little training in with the knife. But other than that, he pretty much just makes ground beef and throws freight. With the team bracelet from Intricity again. I really appreciate the support. Really appreciate it. Sorry, 1 second. You work in a meat department, you'll understand the running nose. I'm washing my hands. Oh my God, with the... Oh, okay, still the 3... She sent 3 bracelets? Is that what I just saw? Is that 3 bracelets from Intricity? We raise beef cattle over here. It finally caught you. Hey, I finally caught you. With the 5 team bracelets. Oh my God, thank you so much for the support. Am I a Trump supporter? Hell yeah, I am. First time voting, I voted for Papa Daddy Trump. Can you, yep, okay. Mustafa, the robot, and the snow. Time for the cross rib roasts. And the UK, we think it's crazy Trump's in. Because y'all didn't think he was gonna... Why am I lagging? I was lagging on TikTok, I'm sorry. Hopefully we're back. Intricity, thanks for the 5 more team cheers. Oh my God, thank you so much. She's exactly what the world needs. If you really would have thought Kamala or Biden would have been the better option, I'm going to promise you it is not. It's not. Anything bad that you are hearing about him, I promise you, it's just people that are upset that they're losing power. the whole, there's a lot of stuff that people think is actually true because the left is completely bashed and because they're upset, and it's false. It's Rishi, thanks for the follow. Where's my gloves? You do not need gloves. This is raw food. I don't need gloves. I can literally cut all this meat without gloves if I wanted to. It's not ready to eat. This is not ready to eat food. Ready to eat food, you need gloves, yes. But the fact that you have to go home, cook this food to 115 internal temp, that's blue rare, medium, then you got rare, and then you got medium rare, so 130 internal temp. The germs are going to be cooked off. I could spit on this, and still technically, it would be okay to sell. Okay? Okay. I'm such a vibe. Hey, I appreciate it. Can I slap that? All on the floor, slap that. Give me some more. Tell you more. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, I'm gonna crash out on user 78013 really quick. I don't give a fuck where you think I don't have to go. You're dumb. Intricity, thanks for the roses. I appreciate it. Oh my god, 20 roses. Let's go. I have to charge extra now for tenderizing that beef. Should I do it to all then? He over here cutting meat and I'm just trying to find out if his meat cut. I am snipped. Or whatever the word is for the, I don't even know how to try and, however you think it, that needs to be phrased. Yes, I'm snipped. Not in the baby making area, but I'm trimmed. All right. Yes, I'm trimmed. I actually don't mind rapping. I think automatic rappers suck. So. Circumstances, yes. I don't want to try and use words that might get me kicked off. I'm surprised I didn't get a warning for calling this person dumb. Every time I buy meat, I'm going to wonder if it was slapped prior. If it's a good meat cutter, it should be slapped. It should be slapped before you buy it. Sup, YouTube? How's it going? Slap away. Do some George Strait, but instead of just give it away, just slap it away. There ain't no meat in this counter that hasn't been slapped. Someone just walked by, I bet they think I'm weird as shit. I do have kids, I have 2. I haven't seen you pop up on the For You page in years. Well, I'm here. I've been back. One-man meat market, basically. I do have a helper, but he doesn't know how to cut. So he just cleans and makes ground beef. What time is it for me? It's almost 2 o'clock. It is 1:52 for me. Is that all the roasts? That is all the roasts. What state am I in? Idaho. I live in Twin Falls and I work in Filer. That's made it's 8:59 for me in the UK. Damn. Intricity with the dolphin. Let's go. Thanks for all the gifts. Thanks for all the support. I really appreciate it. A little slappy slap. Friendship necklace. Oh, if I had a friend, if it actually sent me a friendship necklace, I'd wear that bitch. Would wear that bitch every day. I cut meat for Kroger for years. They're going all pre-cut now. Yes, they are. I worked for Fred Meyer for about a month and a half before I came here. All their pork was pre-cut. All their ground beef was pre-made. We didn't make any ground beef for the counter. The trim got made into fresh beef patties for the fresh cut case every day. So there was no fresh cut pork. The only thing that was fresh cut in the counter was beef. But from my understanding, they're starting to go into pre-packaged beef as well. Mark, thanks for the share. Got these small petite sirloin steaks on sale for $6.99 a pound this week. Check out Riverbend Meats out here in Idaho Falls. Some of the highest quality beef coming out of your area. Ooh. I haven't been to Idaho Falls in years. I have no reason to go that way. Filer, for lack of correct spelling, a suburb of Twin Falls? Yes. Kind of like when you get to Boise, you have a Meridian, Star, Eagle, Garden City, sorry. Kind of like that. They're a big packer doing CAB and lots of prime. Oh yeah, we do have a meat plant here, out on the way between here and Shoshone. I just like this work better as far as meat goes for me. I don't really like being told what to do. Why do they put the black plastic on the bottom of the meat? It's a soaker pad. It soaks up all the meat juice, or you're supposed to. Sometimes it soaks up a lot and there's still more meat juice to be soaked up. So you got extra meat juice in the bottom of the package, but it's just all to make sure that the package doesn't leak all over the counter, basically. Bad you are not busier. That meat looks real good. This is for the whole weekend. You know, I do have meat already out on the counter. But normally I can get I pretty much know what sells, how much to really cut. Sometimes it doesn't sell, sometimes it does sell, you know. But the petite's been selling really good all week. So I'll have a little bit of back stock for that. Tri-tip, I'm expecting to be able to get through the whole weekend, come in and it's maybe gone or might have a package left or a roast left. I'm expecting the petite to be completely gone after this weekend. Start on my next box that came in. Intricity sent a hat and mustache. Oh my God, I missed the cowboy. My bad, partner. And Lit up with the hat mustache. Jesus, I really appreciate it. Who cuts on my days off? No one. I cut extra enough to where no one has to cut. If I take a day off, I cut for that day off. So when I try to go on vacation in May, don't know what's gonna happen. Brooke, thanks for the follow. I used to work in the meat department. I remember burning my hand on that rod a couple of times. Yes, the rod is definitely harder than this. This is just hot enough that it needs to sit here long enough and it will melt the film to itself. That was starting to get really hot. I'm not gonna lie, it's not that it's not hot. I just have a different pain tolerance than a lot of people. Jesus, thanks for the follow. There we go. Trying to remember what the chuck tender came in at. Keep it at 619. Yeah, 619 works for me. With the dolphin, Intricity is going out of this world with the gifts. Holy shit. I appreciate. Oh my god, that was 5 dolphins too? Holy cow. It's worth the meat slap. Ward, thanks for the Edward, thanks for the share. Tanya, thanks for the follow. What's the best fish to buy? I don't normally sell fish. The fish I do sell, it's frozen. I tried bringing in fresh and it doesn't sell. My favorite fish though would be either sockeye salmon to buy from the grocery store or yellowfin tuna. Don't stack the plastic trays on top of one another. It will turn the beef brown. Like this? Because it only does that if it sits there for like 5 days without doing this. So, yeah, I have no problem with it. My meat doesn't turn different color. YouTube, phone's getting a little dead. We are at 10%, so if it somehow just stops working, my phone died. Too bad you're not busier. I used to work with Tristan. He is an excellent meat cutter. I don't know who Dizzle Network is. I don't know if that's a false or not. I've worked with a couple people. I've worked in a couple different grocery stores. Snow Devil, thanks for the follow. No auto wrapper, no auto wrapper. I like wrapping the meat. I understand, I do have 2 kids, so obviously my meat wrapping isn't the best. But we ain't talking about that meat. And both of my kids were planned, so we're all okay here. Paid by the hour, salary paid by the hour. Ayo, it's Rico. Simmerleys. Oh, okay. Who am I talking to? I really shouldn't have said that name. Fuck that store. That store manager's a
He got bullied in school. I'm just gonna say that. Drat Hack Salt. Thanks for the follow. Adam. Oh, what's up, Adam? This guy knows what he's talking about. I'm a fantastic meat cutter. Hope all is well, good. Hope all is well, man. Appreciate it. Again, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm also live over on YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel. Intricity with the hat and mustache. I missed it again? God! Just a... If you ain't aware, I do have a YouTube channel. I do post longer content over there. And I'm trying to grow my channel over there. So, you know, if you like the content, would appreciate the follow. It's a subscription over on the YouTube app. And maybe see you over there. Nice mustache. I wish I would have saw it. Probably looks better than this one that's on my face. Onto the chuck tender. Oh, well, howdy there, partner. You're a hat tip there. Thank you so much, Intricity. $6.99, I believe. Oh my God, she's sending 18, 20, 23. Oh, she's still going. He. Sorry. I don't know why I said she. It just popped out. That's my bad. I'm going to just double check this real quick. He. I appreciate the 52 roses. My brain does this random thing. If I see a name and I don't understand it, I go off of how it sounds. So my brain would just automatically choose a gender, and I'm sorry if I just did that. I'm sorry. Pretty good deal though. This whole package for 2 pounds of steaks, $14. What you do just scrolling. With the oh my God, going off again with all of the gifts. I can't even keep up with all of them. You got the Dalgona candy, the ice cream cone, the chili, the ice cream cone, the chili again, 2025, the TGIF. Going crazy. The meat packaging industry, it is annoying. They have meats that they package really good and meats that they package like shit. But meat is more expensive than it needs to be right now. I really appreciate all the support and Intricity. If I'm still butchering your name, I'm sorry. I'm a meat cutter. I don't deal with words. I deal with a knife and meat. La Mesa, Texas. Hello from Idaho. I've been meaning to go down to Texas. I actually have a buddy that's down in Texas. He's on that little strip of land out in the ocean between, I forget what it's called. It's like that little narrow strip of land out in Texas, right in the ocean. That's where he's at. And I've been meaning to go and visit him. Saying you're right, sweet. Whose fault is that? Are you talking about me not knowing how to pronounce some words because I'm a meat cutter? It's a joke. It's a legit joke. People call us meat cutters dumb, So I'm just like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just cut meat for a living. It's just an inside joke. I'm plenty smart, I promise. Sup, Carly? From Dallas. From Dallas. Going off again with the candy, the OG, the heart puff, the lightning bolt, the TikTok, the TGIF, the It's Corn, the ice cream cone, the chili, Intricity with all the gifts. Can I show us my shop? Yeah, when I get done wrapping. Again, TikTok and YouTube. My phones are getting low. TikTok just hit 20%. YouTube hit 10% like a little bit ago, so somehow it dies. I'm sorry. Thank you for the support if it just dies. I will say I will probably end the TikTok before it does die if I'm still alive rapping at that point, but I think I should be able to get all this done before I end my life. Gotta go, just got off lunch. I didn't know you were on. Have a good day. Have a good day too, Carly. Well, TikTok's just popping off today. And then we got 39 people right now over in the YouTube. Holy shit. I love you all. This has been a great day. This is how you end the week. This is how you do it. I love you all. Appreciate every one of yours support. Intricity with the 12 more chilies. Oh my God. Meat department was my first job ever when I was 18. Hell yeah. My first job ever, I was still in high school. I worked at a high-end furniture store for $10 an hour. It takes some skill and practice to do that. Which one are we talking about? Are we talking about the wrapping? Because it really didn't take me that long to do it. I think I got the wrapping down in like 5 minutes. How much I make an hour now? More than I ever have. I'm not gonna say how much just because it's a little personal, but I will say it should be more. But it's the most that I've ever made being a meat cutter working here. So I will give them that, and I do appreciate and respect the store for that. How cold is it back here? Normally about 38 to 40 degrees. Today it is 40 degrees. That's a pretty nice wrap for a dry tip if I don't say so myself. Oh my God, we're lagging. Why is my TikTok lagging? What's going on, TikTok? I don't know why we're lagging, TikTok. Sorry. Adam, thanks for the follow. Or Austin Adams, thanks for the follow. I knew there was an Adam in that name somewhere. No lag. My thing just showed a red light right here, and that means I'm lagging. So, do I think TikTok will be banned for you? Nope. Trump's already fixed it. It was banned for 12 hours, and then it was fixed. Not worried about it. I don't see it. You don't see. Y'all won't see the red dot, but I see the red dot. Normally, when it's a red dot, it means I'm lagging. But I guess it's maybe just being dumb TikTok after the ban and unban thing. $24.18 for this tri-tip. Oh my God, going back off with the roses, the candy, the GG, the heart puff, the TikTok, the chili, the ice cream cone, the corn, the lightning bolt, the TGIF. Thank you so much, Intricity. Really appreciate it. I'll give it a meat slap for that. Don't forget to tap that screen if you're enjoying the live. Who do I got winning this weekend? Well, I'm an Eagles fan, and I'd rather see anyone but the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So I'm hoping for Bills and Eagles. I feel like Bills and Eagles would feed families. So, Commanders, if the Commanders go, I go bet your house on any other team but the Commanders. It's Commanders and Bills, Bills win 100%. If it's Chiefs and Commanders, it's going to be a bloodbath. If it's Bills and Eagles, great game. It's going to feed families. Chiefs and Eagles, again, it's going to be a great game, but let's just hope that the Chiefs just... Sorry, I just shit on the Commanders and Melanie. But it's fact. If the Commanders go, I don't see them doing too great. Melanie is probably just like, well, I did follow you, but I'm going to take that follow right back. Beautiful tri-tip as well. 22-58. Chiefs winning too many Super Bowls for you? No, this season they were easily the worst, best team this whole season. They had penalty after penalty saving them after game. It's horseshit. The Chiefs were actually just blowing every team out, then it would be completely different. At that point, it'd just be like, well, fuck, can someone beat them? But they are the worst, best team I've ever fucking seen. This shit is so satisfying. I appreciate you, and I'm glad you are enjoying the live Intricity. Do I personally get a discount on the meat there? I do not. That is a negative. That is a no-go. Just entertainment now. It's all scripted. I will say yes in some degrees, but I don't think every game is scripted. I still think they have their good games, but I also think there are some games that if they script it just right, it increases their sales. Mate, you're funny as fuck. I appreciate that. Here I was always told that I wouldn't get paid to slap my meat for a living, but I sure proved to them wrong. I personally like watching UFC and basketball more. I do have a football team and I have a baseball team, but I personally enjoy basketball and UFC more than anything. I played football. I was on the field pretty much the whole game. I was a really good receiver. I was a good defensive end. I was a good middle linebacker. I played baseball. I pitched until I fucked up my shoulder. I was good at first base, and I was really good at third base. Basketball, now that's just a wholly, completely different thing. Because there wasn't anyone in my school who could beat me one-on-one. There wasn't, as a sophomore, seniors, juniors, no one was beating me one-on-one. So, why leave it on the hot plate for so long? Well, it's not super hot. As you can see, it's not super hot. So, I leave it here long enough to let it melt it. Angel, thanks for the follow. I like cube steak. I personally have never had one, but I'm sure they're pretty good. What's up, Brantley? Intricity again with all the gifts. We got candy, the GG, the heart. I just fucked it up. The heart. The heart puff, the TGIF, the chili, the TikTok, the ice cream cone. It's corn. Lightning bolt. Intricity. I appreciate it. On to the last tray of steaks. What's the hot plate? It's this thing right here. It show you. So we got a bar right here. Angel with the rose. So when I come across like this and hit that, there's a hot bar right here that melts it so that I get the proper amount that I need. Now, when I go and pull this all out, fold it over, and put it on this hot plate, melts that plastic together. So if some ignorant person just comes through the counter, instead of lifting the package off the other one, a lot of people just like to kind of grab it and then pull it. So this plastic is being pulled on top of other plastic, and if it's not melted, the film comes up, and so then the package opens, and then now it's getting air inside the package. So the whole point of the hot plate is to close the package essentially. Intricity again with all the gifts. Oh my goodness. YouTube almost went down. Where are you? I am in Filer, Idaho. I live in Twin Falls though. Ooh, I didn't know that. That's cool. I really appreciate Intricity. Shacktastic. Thanks for the follow. I'm just gonna call you Heart. Thanks for the heart me. I really appreciate it. I send you a heart back. We're both named Tristan, and we both got meat. Just got home from work. Except you are an Owen. I'm an A. I was named after Legends of the Fall character with that A in there.